Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and we have something fairly juicy in front of us. This is a beer that Mike has told me is some kind of New England IPA. I think it's even in coordination with a Tree House.
Yeah,
Ale?
maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah.
All right, well, tell me more about it, because I'm going to...
It's my collab brew with Tree House. I didn't invite you.
It's okay. I hear you. If it's like, if they had to pick one person, you're like, I'll just go with me.
Yeah. No, so I don't know if you've been watching, but the guys at Tree House, they've been actually putting out some pretty interesting YouTube videos. They have a nice YouTube channel, and they're promoting a lot of stuff. I really strongly recommend you check out the head brewer there, Nate, I think his name is. He's gone through and done like our top 5 favorite hops, our least favorite hops, like different videos. It's really cool. They've done some great stuff showing the cellar, blah, blah, blah.
That's great.
But they also did a few months back a video on how to make a Treehouse style IPA. And it just sort of intrigued me. So I thought,
You thought?
you know what? As opposed to banging around playing with like these IPA recipes myself, and I'm gonna put this to the test and see how it goes. So let me give you the recipe. And now this is basically the recipe given in the video, and it's relatively nondescript. You know, they're not giving you the recipe necessarily to say make Julius or green or something. This is like a recipe that's formulated around their best practices for making New England IPA. So it is 85% two-row. I used Brewe's brewer's malt because I like that malt.
Great.
10% flaked oats, and then 5%, what did they use? Let me just double check my notes. Then it's 5% carafoam.
Carafoam?
Is what they use. I didn't have a full 5% carafoam, so I substituted in a little bit of honey malt. Just for fun.
Okay.
But anyway, just a little bit. But it's basically 5%. I think it was like 1% to make up the, so it's like, this beer is 4% carafoam, 1% honey malt. Anyway, then this specifically, this is what he talks about in for the hopping, is he goes in, he spends a couple minutes talking about bittering hops, and you need to have a little bit of it. It's not all about just loading up on the back end, which I was really actually
pleased to hear.
Like to hear that. So specifically, he says you need about 20 IBUs of Magnum.
Okay.
And so this is 20 IBUs of Magnum, and I'm going to give this to you in IBUs because that's how the video is talked about.
Nice.
And then it's 5 IBUs each of Amarillo, Citra, and Simcoe, 20 minutes in. And then the same amount of hops at Flame Out. Obviously there's no IBUs or time 0, but it's Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe. And so in my recipe, this being a 3.5 gallon batch, that equates to 5 grams, 4 grams, 4 grams of Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe. So not a ton, not a ton.
Wow.
But then they recommend, they talk about London Ale 3. I used Verdant IPA because that is a derivative of London Ale 3 anyway, and that's what I had available, so that's what I wanted to use. I'm obviously not following this to the T, but the video is done in the spirit of how they go about formulating these things. So that's what I went.
Yeah.
But then this is where it gets interesting, okay, is after fermentation is done, and you have cold crash off the yeast specifically, then it's about adding 7 to 15 grams per liter of, again, Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe, each.
Yeah.
So let's just easy math. 1 gallon is about 4 liters. Sorry, my UK friends, it's not exactly, but so 4 times 7 grams per liter would be 28 grams, which is an ounce. And remember, this is, so that would be a full ounce. So you scale it up to say 3 gallon batch, that's 3 ounces.
Yep.
9 ounces total. Amarillo, Citra, he says 7 to 15 grams per liter. So we could be talking upwards of like,
it's a lot of material.
12 ounces of hops. Now, I just said I'm going to go with the 7 just because in my system, in my process, trying to cram that much hop in there.
Yeah.
I just probably wouldn't get decent utilization anyway. So I went with the lower end just to make it economically and mechanistically more feasible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so these hops have been in there for about 4 days. I cold crashed it, blah, blah, blah. The starting gravity on this beer was 1062, although the target in his recipe was 1070, so I had a little bit of an efficiency issue, but whatever. And then it finished out at 10, 11-ish, so we're talking almost 7% alcohol, which is usually in line with like a Julius or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there we go. I said verdant, and I fermented this, mashed it at 150. I did my step mashing per 147, 158, 168 mash out. There you go. And I'll give you the water, because I've been doing this. So the water, 50 ppm of calcium, 29 of sulfate, 67 of chloride, for a 2 to 3 chloride to sulfate ratio. So nothing really crazy out of the, no huge amount of chloride or whatever.
Did they talk about water chemistry?
He said specifically, and I think because this is part of the secret sauce, he says that's something that every brewer should figure out for themselves.
All right. Well, there you go.
So
very good. And then the fermentation temperature on this, did you talk about that?
Yeah, what temperature is it down here now?
So
it fermented nice between 65, 68 in the basement. Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty, I would say it's a little cooler than that today, but
yeah,
you're about right. Anyway, hop presence on the nose, not as like explosively strong on some of those beers that we've had, after you pour them out or whatever.
Yeah, if there's a little more carbonation, might lift it.
Yeah, that's true. But it's there, it's wonderful. Nice bouquet of pine, citrus, just lovely. Nothing unfavorable about that in the aroma. And then it just, give me a break. It just, I don't know if you were, I said, I can't wait for him to stop talking so I can tell him how good this is, because everything that's promised in the aroma comes through tenfold in the taste.
Yeah.
It's just oh, yes.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe the simplicity of so few hops, even late, 20 minutes. To use 20 minutes, everyone says, oh, no, it's 0 and after. But
yeah.
I think it's all coming together in a pretty amazing symphony here.
Yeah.
A 20-minute addition, a 0-minute addition, small additions.
Yeah.
I tasted the beer before I dry hopped it. And I was you could taste the hops, but it wasn't hoppy by any stretch. And it wouldn't pass as say just a pale ale or something at that point. So it's interesting that those things sort of create this base that all the dry hopping then can sit on top of and really shine.
Right. And then I think that just the major notes I'm getting from this, not pine, but not overly pine, not, obnoxious pine sol, citrus, but more the orangey, pithy taste. And then there's like a berry note. I wouldn't say it's tropical, maybe a little peachy, but to me it's coming more as berry than a stone fruit.
Yep.
I could probably be swayed. It's also coming out of your keg. It was super cold, and it was I just wanted to keep drinking it because it was refreshing. But I think that's the fruit profile I'm getting off the hops too. The major ones are the piney and the citrus, but the added extra that I think is bringing the flavor to that extra level, that higher level, is that in this nondescript fruit, but I'm saying it's like a berry thing, because it's more of I won't say strawberry, but and I don't. It's just a berry.
I hear you.
Thing.
Yeah. I think that amazingly, in a handful of videos as of late, I've talked a lot about wanting more of that orangey tangerine thing out of. But here, I get that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk about New England IPA or Hazy IPA being juicy, this is juicy.
Yeah,
this is, and what does juicy mean? It means to be reminiscent of juice, and that it is. It has that. There's a sweetness to it. And it's all hop dry. There's a sweetness to it. I love the balance between that pininess, the pithiness, and the fruit character, as opposed to just being over the top, all the way fruit, or old school, say, back in the day, just really piney resin,
bitter,
right?
Yeah.
This is sort of like finding that really interplay balance. And I haven't brewed a lot with Simcoe. So I think maybe that's something that's taken. I've brewed plenty with Amarillo, brewed plenty with Citra, and been like, yeah, okay, these are nice. But I think somewhere in there, that Simcoe sort of is, and he talks about that too, like the way these hops can work together to be more than the sum of their parts is a big deal. The other thing I'll add to this too is specifically one of the other reasons why I wanted to make this beer. This goes back a month or so ago, and we talked about buying hops, and where you get them from, and this is part of that experiment too. This was buying 8 ounces of Citra Amarillo Simcoe fresh from Yakima Valley.
Nice.
not repackaged, just boom, half-pound bags of it. And so having the best hops that I guess I can get in making this, the results are in there.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that quality hops made this beer.
Yeah, I'm not a big craver of this style that much anymore, but you know what? My wife likes this. I think that I think I would keep doing it just like this and say, okay, this recipe, boom. Like if I want to have a New England IPA that I brew at home, this is it. And I just love the simplicity of the 2-row oats and that touch of carafoam. It works really well.
Even if there's, what about the honey malt that you put in?
I mean the honey malt's like
that's like a proprietary blend.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I guess I have a YouTube channel to check out. I didn't know the Tree House was putting out videos, which is tremendous. I will look for tips just like the ones you found to make this beer because this is a great one. All right. Well, I guess the gig is up. If you really need to do a good New England IPA, go straight to the source, the top brewery in America, if not the world, or the top rated one. But it's great that they're sharing some of the secrets, even if water chemistry is one they're holding closer to their chest.
Which is fine. Be a brewer, figure it out.
Be a brewer, and put your own spin on it, even if it is honey malt.
I told you what mine was. Go with it. Go with that.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know more about your thoughts on the combination of Amarillo, Citra, and Simcoe. Where are you getting your hops, and any other thoughts you might have in the comments below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel because that really fuels us to make more videos. We try to do one every single week. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. I'll drink another one of these.
Okay.
Brew on.
Cheers.